I forgot what we were talking about, laughing about, but
Oh,
the
I tell you what I need to speak to
all right,
is
yeah.
that a friend and I went to France, and that's maybe 8 years ago. And she kept saying to me, Sharon, just move away, just go back to the door. Because every time we would go to book in somewhere, the whole system would crash. And she figured it out, not me. We're out of sync here, but um, she figured out that it was my frequency that was meaning that their booking system would crash, everything would fall down until I walked away from the counter, and then everything would come back up again.
Isn't that what's happening? It's
Yeah.
like we're
What's happening on a grand scale now. So I'm just putting my foot, I've got a big crystal here to put my foot on because
yeah,
I'm aware
yeah,
that there's this happening.
yeah. I don't even know how to discuss it, but what I've always strived for on this show, or what we have strived for, is to have a real time conversation with all multidimensional aspects and human aspects involved.
Yeah.
But this stuff is moving so fast, like it's beyond
Hmm.
fast. It's it's
Yeah. Yes.
it's hard to explain. It feels like a kundalini rising, I guess, in a way, like you were talking about. In other words, seeing the same thing over again. But it's like this time we're on the other side of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
Well, and look
hard
at
to
how I
explain.
got this time totally confused. I was so sure that I was meeting with you at 4:30, and I'd put 4 o'clock in my diary so I could get in here and be in the right place at the right time. And yeah, a total disconnect from time. And I feel that that's more and more uh, our reality, because our reality is changing and shifting, and it like shifts from microsecond to microsecond.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. And the last couple of days seem to really speak to that for me because I've been living in this little town in Mexico for the last few months and going to the bay every night and getting, as I go out there and just commune with everything that's out there, they're getting more and
Hmm.
more intense. And I saw this fireball. That's the only way I
Oh
could
wow.
explain it. It wasn't like a drone. It wasn't like an orb like you see in some of these pictures. It was like a fireball, and it came up 3 times on 3 different nights. And it came up 2 nights ago, on the night that I lost my phone for the third time in Mexico. And I knew immediately I wasn't going to get it back, and I was okay with it. Right. So I went to bed that night. I went to the beach that night, and the fireball came for the third time, and it came really close to me and was talking to me about Mars, talking to me about other stars, talking to me about a journey, talking to me about certain aspects of my own consciousness or my inner monad that presented themselves to me like so many other people when they first came in. You know, you had these
Mm.
aspects of yourself that you saw outside of yourself, and then eventually you embodied. But anyway, I went to bed that night, and I woke up the next morning, and it was one of those heavy ex-flare days, and I was like, "What the hell?" And I started to come, out of it, and I was on my phone, like answering an email, and then the power went out. So the power went out. I spent the rest of the day mostly at the beach without a phone, living without a phone. But that's not the story. The story was the intel that was coming in. And it wasn't about giving
Mm.
anything up. It was about putting everything into its proper place. So I end up
Are
having
you
this,
telling me you figured that out?
huh? What's that?
Have you figured that out?
Well, yes, that's what it's like that's what I'm saying about this energy. You can have moments of exchange where you can actually share this information in real time and it will come to you, basically,
Mm.
right? Because it looks like two different stories or whatever the case is, but then you see the symmetry of it. So what I'm saying is that I went through this day where you live in Mexico, you have a $750 a month government retirement, Your rent's 600, and the whole world is changing. You could be here like you were 14 years ago on the streets, and not in a bad or good way. Just, you know what? This is what we're coming down to. We're coming down to this level of, revealing that basically confronts each and every fear, because all are based on the programming of this realm,
Yeah.
in the last 6 or 12,000 years. That's
So
what.
true.
Thank you.
Yeah. Phenomenal. Well, as I said to somebody this morning, well, our bodies are going through something they've never been through before. And that's why our bodies are feeling very stretched, strained, hammered, sleeping at weird times, doing time jumps, time merges, dimensional shifts, all kind of happening in the same moment, really. So I think we can be humorous about it.
That's one of the signs that you're on the right track.
I think so.
It
Yeah,
really
yeah. Like,
is.
give it up, baby.
It really is. I think about what would have happened. Let's just say 2 or 4 years ago, and we had a show, and one person was late, and this and that, or whatever. None of that was there. There was
Yeah.
just, hey, no rush, no worries. I'm here. Let's do it between this time and the time that you thought, whatever. And again, that's not just about us. This is about like the actualization of the embodiment in present. Like there's no loops playing. There's no prejudices. There's no biases. You're just like going, wait, let's just flow into this. And when you're laughing, I think that's a really good indicator, personally, and humility.
Yeah. 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 Well, it's those old adages that we're crashing, isn't it? Those, like, the things that Gaia has said that are so sort of front and center for us right now is give up the need to be right, give up the need to know, and just be present with what is, and then we're in that allowance to see what might come, or what might go, or what might fall away, or what might be revealed. And because this is all about, like you said so beautifully, about our coming into our absolute wholeness.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's something about the human part of it that, to me, because like I came down here in July of 24, right? Yeah. And
Yeah.
there was a lot of energy then in 24, and then through 25 there was a lot of energy. And so all these things happen on the old perception of the 3D, of the conditioning that look like nuts.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell's going on? But I feel like in this early part of 26, we're coming into that consciousness of it's not what we've been up against. It's what we have in our, you might say, in our tool belt. The way that we're kind of connecting. I mean, it's a huge proposition, and I don't see any podcast talking about it. I'm not saying this one does, but I don't see anyone talking about the possibility and the reality that it exists. And how in the hell can each moment be such like a merging where two or more
A
gather?
merging and an expansion all in the same microsecond. Yeah. I feel part of it is that we are navigating new languaging, and we don't have the words yet, and we're navigating new constructs, and we don't have the wherewithal even to describe it, discuss it, formulate it, but we're becoming better at, well, maybe the humour, and we're becoming better at being the observer of what is without having to need to understand, because we know that it will incrementally kind of reveal itself.
Yeah. And there's something beautiful and a bit painful that involves the human being and the journey of the human being, particularly this incarnation, which is like a summary life to me. It's always felt like a summary life to me.
I agree.
And it's It's painful, it's liberating, and it's time to let go of it. Because that's the whole point. None of that is, none of that which happened to each one of us is us. And so it's so hard to let go. It's so hard to let go of the victories and the perceived failures. You know what I mean? The success and the sins.
Yeah, because that's part of our programming, isn't it? Like the failures, really, they are our pinpointed opportunities for growth, for healing, for learning.
So, what have you been feeling lately when you've been connecting to Mother Gaia? Because I know you do that, I think, if I'm not mistaken, every day, and have for many
I do,
years.
yes. So come Easter, that will have been an entire decade of me doing that pretty much every day. And so, yeah, she is speaking at this moment, like in these few days. It's like we are coming into the physical rebirth. So it's like yesterday. It's even hard to describe, but it was like me watching my birthing canal expand. That was how I felt. Like I was kind of. It sounds it sounds hard. It sounds hard to conceive of, but it's like that was.
When you said it was the birthing of the would you say the birthing of the physical?
Yeah, we're rebirthing ourselves in this
In the
very physical
physical,
way.
when you said that, it was 11 minutes. I'm sorry, yeah, 11 minutes, 11 seconds on the broadcast. And I thought, oh, ping, there it is. But yeah,
Perfect.
and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so you can, if you can imagine or not imagine, it might be too much to imagine. But if it's like staring into the birth canal, like viewing yourself, birthing yourself. That was the kind of perspective I was being shown, and so it was like that. It was like this spreading, this opening, and as though the planet is doing that to birth us, and we're doing that to birth ourselves. It's that level of physicality. As we're in this, coming into anyway, this new species, this Homo luminous, this more crystalline, this slightly taller being who becomes more and more expanded in abilities to communicate with our own consciousness and other levels of consciousness and all sentient life. That's the other thing that's a bit mind blowing, So many stories I've been shown with Gaia, and an early one I remember was this notion of, it seemed that I was the persona of the Lady of the Lake, and I was sitting beside a mouse that was sitting beside a lion at the edge of the lake. And I remember kind of viewing this from the various angles, and I asked what the message was, and it was that is where we are heading, that we will be able to sit beside one another in friendliness and love, that the mouse will not have to fear the lion. And when I asked about how that will play out, I got shown that it is that there won't be this eating of other species. Even the lion won't be killing other species to feed itself. And so I suppose that comes down to our being more consuming of light. But it was a long time ago I was shown that that's the place that we would come to, and I believe that that's the place we're getting close to being.
Yes, very well put.
It's pretty outrageous.
Especially prefacing it with the human body. That was that's what really stuck out at that 11:11 moment. And yeah, so what you're saying is, I think myself and many, many, many people that can really hear that, and I think many can now, resonate with it. The question that it brings up, and when you said that about the physical rebirth, I've always known for myself that the potential at a minimum is to have this experience without a physical connotation of death. In other words, to
Yeah.
transform the body at the boots on the ground level, which is extraordinary to even go, oh my God, you're crazy. But I feel like that's the, but, and so when you said that, the first thing I heard was be careful what you ask for. Because, well, because the physical body, I mean, I'll tell you my own experience over the last 2 or 3 years. It's talking to me. It's
Yeah.
guiding me. It's chastising me at times, and it's compassionate at times. But I'm in alignment with it, and the rhythms of my physical or my biological are changing. Eating, what I ingest, what I inhale. I mean, and it's not like some kind of, flipping switches. It's some kind of symmetry that's happening. So I really feel like maybe what we're trying to adjust to, or what we're going to be adjusting to, is the human being having the confidence in itself with its own internal intelligence in its relationship to that which is closest to it, which is him or her in the physical
Yeah.
body, right? So it's an extraordinary proposition. To me, it is. Anyway, I find it fascinating. Thank you.
Yeah, and it goes with so many kind of things that she said to me over this 10 years that are now like really coming forth, hitting home, like turning inside out and upside down. What is inside us is beginning to be shown. Our history, the experiences that we've had as various beings, be they the entire being or be they a fractal of that being, that's all starting to be reminisced through our soul rememberings, I guess, or however you want to frame that. And the connections that we make, more and more there's realization of, oh, yeah, I know you. I know you from another time. I know you from another experience. So there's more of that. There's more of the intangible becoming tangible, the unseen becoming seen, the hidden becoming revealed. And we're seeing that on all sorts of fronts, aren't we? And so I think in 2020 or 2018, she said to me that we're going to change in the order of government, economics, health, manufacturing, education, and that's we kind of are seeing that things will come into alignment and truth. And so this is, we're seeing more and learning more about the inner earth. We're learning more about the underground that's sat there in its various layers. We're learning about the hidden levels of buildings in the underground tunnels, the inner earth, the off planet, all of the kind of layers and levels of our experience here on earth is the dream time becoming, dreaming up the reality. It's all coming into kind of land and roost, and I don't know how we
I think we just entered.
navigate it, but
We
it's
just
a bit of a time.
we just entered the no bullshit zone.
Yeah.
But I love what you
Yeah,
said.
I was just saying to somebody yesterday, I remembered the very first time I said something online that was a bit out there, and this guy messaged back saying, "What kind of drugs are you on, lady?" And I thought, oh, whoops. Okay, oh well, maybe I'm going to get a bit of that, but actually, I haven't got too much of that in the 10 years that I've been doing this work.
I wonder how many sisters around the world, if each one of them went up to a ballot box and said, you've had some inkling, some consciousness of the information that you have and so many other sisters have. And we know that's been the biggest, vast majority of these groups as this movement, originated on or about 2012 or really started to, get some traction. But I bet you it's a lot in their own way, in their own culture, in their own imagery and metaphor. I could see it. this whatever's landed, regardless of what it looks like, and I don't think it looks that bad. It just looks kind of stupid and distorted. I'm talking about the story they're putting out on the airwaves, because there's
Oh, yeah.
another network, and that network is what's coming out. It's there. It's, you can call it telepathy, you can call it whatever you want to. There is this congruence and coherence that we've been working on for years, and we're just starting to realize this thing's turned on. And then we're stepping into, like, say, the viral airwaves or broadcasting, or some type of post or whatever, and trying to bring that language in. And you're right, it is not anything like any of the languages or connotations that we have framed our mind, or what's been framed in our mind through the conditioning to be logical and make sense and have definitions. This is something else. This is
Yeah.
all that this is. Yeah, it is. It really is. And somehow or another, the physical body has all the answers. I'm starting to come to
Yeah.
that. I don't have it figured out, but to me, I'm like, okay, like there's some
And I
kind
think
of
that's what
inner
these
outer.
conversations do. These conversations allow something, it's like talking out loud to yourself, isn't it? When you talk out loud to yourself, suddenly you kind of have some epiphanies. And that's what these conversations do, is that we all of a sudden, well, I do anyway, when so something you just said to me then, now it's gone in and out, but will it come back? Is that it's because we're becoming more telepathic. And so maybe the constructs of language are shifting in their way of maneuvering. And so the language becomes less important because the language, the setup doesn't like this. um, because we're going to be speaking in terms of telepathy, we're going to be speaking in terms of frequency, energetics, not words, the somatic body creating a greater level of intelligence. And so maybe that's all part of this, I don't know, this piece we're going through now.
What's that? That is it. The Heart Institute, or and you see it out there in some of the spiritual posts, the scientific aspect, or evidence of the
Yeah,
field of
the
the
heart
heart,
math.
and that the heart method, okay, and that the heart actually has the same, you might say, cognitive functions of the brain, and the brain has
Yeah, I
its own,
think it even
the mind,
operates at
yeah, it
higher
has its own
frequency.
field. So yes, absolutely. So this is what I'm saying. This type of communication, I feel, involves the body, whether you're half a world away or you're standing right next to the person. It involves all the frequencies available, and because we're embodying, or we've done shadow work, or whatever you want to describe that's gotten us to this point, the body is becoming our most sensitive organ, you might say. It's like, you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
so that's what I feel is coming online. And I'm not saying we don't have to work at it, but what I'm saying is there has been a delay, there has been a gap between when we've kind of woven this stuff into the new grid, or uncovered it, or recovered it, or whatever you want to call it, and when it happens in the physical. And it's moving faster and faster, right? But I feel
yeah,
like that how we feel, no matter what, without past judgment or conventional wisdom, it's just how we feel. If I say to you, if you said to me right now, hey, I want to get off this podcast, if it's coming from that space, I'm going to feel it, and everyone else is going to feel it. You know.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and this connection to time, or the disconnection to time, I feel that that's quite a big what's the word? Shimmy. That's the word I want to use. It's a big shimmy for us in our physical form, because we've been so impatient to align everything to the calendar, align everything to the clock. And the clock, I remember a long time ago being shown how the clock was, just this mechanism that kept us bound, and that it was dissolving. It didn't exist in other dimensional frames, spaces, either. And so it was like this construct that kept us small, that kept us in our lower human form, I guess.
Have have you? I mean, I know you've been tapped in for so long, and
Yeah,
I feel like a part of what's happening too is the release of the past judgment of ourselves, the devaluation of ourselves. It really wasn't from us; it was from the whole experience. Do you still have, or when did you stop having those type of PTSD moments now? No, but when did you start to, or where are you at with in terms of leaving that behind you? You know what I mean? Did you get to a point where it was just one big, you know, eraser pad that wiped everything out because you went through all these things? How much of an influence was your human experience, and how much of it did you have to come to terms with?
it's interesting. I was saying to somebody um, yesterday that I can look back now and see some of the things that I did that led me to doing this work. And I remember in a speech competition at secondary school that I came out onto the stage and I bellowed as this 15-year-old, "Silence! I bring a message from God." And then I proceeded to speak then about how we needed to have more respect for the planet, and that we it was our role to take on a different viewpoint. And so I remember my sisters saying in the car on the way home, "Oh my God, we were so embarrassed." um, anyway, that was something that came to me yesterday when I was speaking to somebody who I know who's heading off on a trip overseas somewhere, and I was saying that it's like those I can think that that was an early time um, of doing something that was a bit out there, and not really thinking anything of it. Like yeah, I don't know, but I don't know that I ran that past anybody or I just did it. And so these early sort of experiences, and I remember when I was 17, I would have walks on the beach with Jesus. And well, I didn't come from a religious background, but I do remember, Mum was pretty open. Mum went and did training in hands-on healing and things like that. So I guess that there was that exposure. And then I remember I would have dream times with Mother Mary, and we would walk in the rose garden. And I have I have a lot of soul. Well, I don't even know how to frame it really. I have memory of who I've been as a part of a soul or a fractal of soul or whole soul, who knows, of many aspects of history. And so that has taught me a lot about the world, I guess, through that past life um, surveying, I guess.
Well, that's what I was saying earlier about what you were talking about, because with that type of insight, you start to understand, which is coming out now in the world with the whole Epstein thing and so many other things like you were talking about. But you start to see the path behind you, which you might look at as what is under your feet
Yeah,
in the physical replication of it in the man. You know what I mean? And so
yeah, exactly.
we've spent a lot of time, and rightfully so. You can call it remembering of our multidimensionality, and we've all had in our own ways the transmissions and the channelings, the experiences. And I think there's more and more people able to acknowledge that with the confidence of being comfortable in their own skin and saying, "This happened to me. I don't care." Like those moments you're
Yeah,
talking about when we were growing up, and your soul would just pop out and do something crazy. But
yeah,
but I think that what's happening is we're regardless of our experience as a human, the frequency is asking us to look at everything that we've come from in this earth experience, particularly evidently, the last 6 to 12,000 years, and all the BS. Because if you look back at everything, you see the same pattern. So why wouldn't the same pattern be in front of you? Unless something changes. And so the only way to change it is to look back and say, this is all me. All of this is me. Because I'm part of you. And just as you said earlier, which is very true, and I like the way you said it, because I know 26 people that said they were Jesus.
Yeah.
But it can be, it could be an aspect, right? It could be the big toe, it could be, we don't know how it works, and it's all legitimate and it's all real and relevant. But the same would apply to our memories, our other memories that were forgotten, and that is our lineage and our journey as human beings, every single part of it. And I may have been a part of Genghis Khan's consciousness, and you may have too. And we ravaged the world, or so many other examples. So we're also connected by those things.
Absolutely. And I think that's becoming more and more evident. And to me, I guess that's how I somehow got shown to explain this, is that, what if, let's say, all the people who say, oh, well, I know that I was, I was Mary Magdalene. And so when I started doing this work, and I would hear people say that, I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. Okay, tell me about that. Tell me how do we explain that without diminishing people's internal experiences? And that was what I got shown. Well, because everything is a fractal. And so imagine this huge being, this amazing light being, this teacher called Mary Magdalene, and imagine all of her in fractal form having split up into other forms, and then those forms having replicated or duplicated or whatever and create other forms. And so that was the thing that made the most sense to me, is that when people said, oh, well, I think that I was, I go, yeah, you probably were. If you think that you were, you probably were. And maybe this is a way of explaining it. Maybe you're a fractal of that incredible being, and you carry some of those codes, and that's what you're here to do, pass those codes on and live those codes, or create something new from those codes. But it was a way of opening up the dialogue. It was a way of explaining something big to people that might help them understand the tangibility of it. I don't know, it seemed like when I came across that notion, it seemed like it answered a lot of questions for me.
Yeah. I remember when I woke up, Jesus brought me to the party. It was a big experience, and he hung around for a while. And then I went on the streets for a couple of years, and he was there a lot of the time. And then I had my, evolution and whatever, and I came off and moved into, rented the upstairs of my mom's house, and I had my 2 youngest kids with me. They were in junior high. And so I would spend, that's when I really started writing. I had a computer and, started doing stuff with Soulogy. And I remember, and I would eat lunch with my mom sometimes, and I went down one day and I told her, she was asking me about all these things that happened to me. Because I'm talking about these ascended masters and Archangel Michael and all these apparitions and, just different things happening. Everyone thought I was crazy. And I said to her, well, this is the way it started. Jesus told me that I was his son. And he told me my name. Yeah. And I said, but, I don't, buy into it at a literal level. And she said, why not? And that was a weird, right? That was a weird moment, because she's a devout Catholic, very ingrained in that, but had the openness to say, but that speaks to what you're talking about, because both are true.
Yes.
It's all true.
Yeah,
the need to know. The need to know. I don't know if it was a short you and I did. I put it, my friend Gregory Jones, shout out, in infusedlights.com, made 5,000 shorts for Soulogy, and one was put out. I think it was you because there was a couple of with you that kind of went semi-viral, and it was like the need to know. Is the tough one. That's the one that has to go now. That's the whole
Yeah, because
point.
it's
That's the
so
whole point.
contained in our ego.
Well, that's what I'm saying because if you have to know anything, you can't go into the void. I mean, we've all been there many times in our own ways. You cannot go into the fucking void with any type of absolutes or any type of conditions. You talk about unconditional love. That's unconditional love. Jumping into that darkness that is the holy womb of the mother goddess. This is we want to rebirth and resurrect, reform. Whatever, repair, replace, whatever it takes. Taking the experience of all the code we've received and jumping into that abyss. And I think the way it happens, it's like a wave. And I think a bunch of us are jumping into it now. And it's
Yeah.
wild.
So is it,
I don't know.
so is it a woohoo moment or is it a holy heck moment, I guess?
My thing is like the physical body. It's interesting because of the relationship and the connection that's happening, and I'm not the only one because I've heard it on the show for the last 3-4 years. What's going to happen in that transition? Speaking to what you did at the beginning of the show, like it's happening in a physical rebirth. It's like we're being born again physically. And so there's parts
Yeah.
of my body that I'm thinking they're breaking down. There's other parts that are like doing some amazing things. I'm like,
Yeah,
what's
I
going
think
on there?
the way to look at that is that it's happening incrementally.
Yeah.
So there's, it's like turning the dial slowly, and then all of a sudden we've done a whole revolution. It's like the second hand on the clock. All of a sudden, a minute's gone by. So I feel that we're doing it in that way. This incremental shifting of the dial, and then all of a sudden there's a whole revolution. And that's in a way like a lot of those incredible artists that wrote songs in the 60s. What they were writing about. Often when a line comes to me and I go and look it up and I think, oh, that was written by John Lennon, or people from that era were writing lyrics about things that we're having an experience of now.
Yeah.
So I think that they did a lot of transcendental meditation, didn't they, the Beatles? But it's not just them. It's just a lot of song lyrics that come. They have such wisdom, such depth to them, and they've been written a long time ago.
Yeah. And it's like you can look at things like that. I love the Beatles. I love music. And then you start to see some of the other stuff that was in the in the background, like the deep state or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, yeah,
The yes. Anyway, but what I see, especially in artistry, music in particular, because I love music, even with the effect of the conditioning and whatever allowances they had to make, things that might have actually hurt their soul or their heart, there was still this thread in everything of this kind of I am soul. I will not concede. I don't know. It's like it was like I look at a lot of these artists' expressions, and you see a lot of stuff, and I've written a lot of stuff, but I'm not putting myself out there like that. I'm just saying, much of the great artistic, creative expressions have been from the depths of the emotions, right?
yeah,
And that's a
yeah,
powerful thing. I was thinking about that today, but in a different way, or at least it came in. How I've in my own life produced certain things, like built momentum, and every single one of them, I was inspired from the heart, my emotions. It was a great download. I was like, whoa! But that's the kind of information that's coming in for all of us right now, don't you think?
I
In our
think
own
so.
personal way.
Because what I've seen is that the firmament has changed. So whatever um, description of the firmament or experience of the firmament, this fits with, this is my experience. So when I first started to see the firmament, I really would see it as this big, thick perspex. And then I would notice, because it's not like I would go and tune into it, but I often would be taken outside of the planet and have a look at the planet and see what was happening on a planetary level. And
But
don't ask me to go.
when you would go out, would you go beyond the firmament, or would you be
Yeah,
within?
I think that I did because I've been to other planets.
Yeah, okay, but could you? Well, okay, I kind of got the impression like you were looking back at the Earth from outside the firmament. Like I've
I think
got,
so.
looked at Earth. I've never, probably because it never entered my mind, which means I was probably in the confines of the firmament, because I didn't
Yeah.
think. Let me go
Well,
out.
I think that I've seen the firmament from within the firmament, but I've seen the world from beyond the firmament. Um, and
I don't think I've
and
ever
what?
seen. I've never seen the firmament. I think that's what it
Okay.
is, because I'd certainly have been even outside of this construct, but I never thought about that. So, what does it look like? What does it feel like? What does it mean?
So so what I have seen and was shown over maybe this last year is okay. So originally, when I would be looking at it, it would appear to be like a thick perspex, and then I would notice that it started to look like a plastic sheet, and then it became something like saran wrap or glad wrap, and then it became like cellophane, like a synthetic cellophane. But more recently, it shows up like a cellophane made from corn syrup that dissolves when you touch it. And so that's been just one sort of evolution of something that's to do with our Earth that I've noticed in
Wow,
this
that's
time.
deep. So, when did you come into this information experience?
Just sometime in the last month or two.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that feels right. And
Um,
have you gotten? I think I already asked you this question, but have you gotten any recent, or what's the state of the union right now? Like, what is Mother Gaia saying right now? Like, is there anything? I can't even read the stuff online. It's like, I don't know. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but I'm not seeing anything new. But man,
yeah.
maybe again that's the way it works. Maybe that's the way it works. You're never given 100%. You just keep going the way you're going in the present conscious moment. I don't know.
Well, I think what you just said, there's something beautiful about that because don't you think it would be a bit pointless if one of us had all the information?
Yeah,
And so it makes sense that we would
good
each give
point.
a little
Touche,
bit, right?
touche. Yeah, touche.
Yeah, so I think we each bring our little bit to the table and exchange that or add to the pot. And what Gaia has been showing me is that we are in various stages of rebirthing in the physical, and that we've been going through this process from carbon to crystalline, from Homo sapien to Homo luminous, and we're changing in our physiology. Our physical biological system is changing. We're doing something that's never been done in the history of the multiverse. So that's why there's so much interest, because no species has ever ascended whilst in form. So always ascension has, in my understanding anyway, required dying. And this time we're having this opportunity to ascend whilst in form, but it's doing it, inch by inch, little by little, moment by moment, and then it does feel like we're going to have some kind of like final sprint to the finish, or like a push, like that final push out of the birth canal, or a little sparking of explosion in the heart, or any of those ways could be perceived as
All
the
of the
final
above.
moment. Yeah.
Well, I don't know what the final moment's going to look like. We might all wake up in a big cosmic disco with great off-planet lighting and a band playing.
Well, I am showing that it's going to be Edenic. It's
What,
going to be
what?
like paradise on earth.
Yeah, yeah, because that's the thing that overrides everything. It really
Yeah.
does. I mean, it. We've all been through it. In our memories of other whatever. Okay, the effect that level of illumination has, where the soul is like, I am a soul. I know I'm not perfect. I'm going to blast this out and have like occurrences like you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
The effect that it has on the opposite, you might say polarity. And the name of the game is those two sides coming together. And
Yeah.
that's really been our journey, and that's kind of the basic blueprint. At least in my experience, I'm not saying I'm, know anything. I'm just saying that's been my experience. The difference here is it was a dualistic polarity. So and by having a dualistic polarity, you have these infinite number of alternate timelines that spread out from every thought, and you have all the distortion in the field. We're pulling all of this back into the same divine thread, and
I
the
agree.
human being is going through some shifts, no doubt. You know,
Yeah, even without the F.
huh? Even without what?
Even without the F.
I'd like to make it in this body. I'd like to grow younger. I feel like that the potential is there, and I feel like that there's some kind of synthesis of. I remember when I first woke up, all I kept hearing was, "I am soul, the heart and mind of spirit," and
Yeah.
so that to
Yeah.
me said it all. And I feel like that's what we're carrying. So, you know, how do I explain
Mm.
this? But like, it's based on my thoughts. And I
Yeah.
can program myself to some degree, but it's this free, okay with what happens, comfortable in my own skin navigation that seems to be coming in. And it's not because I'm smart, but I think it's what's happening to a lot of us. And to go with it. And part of it, I think, is laughing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm serious. Why do you think comedians live so long?
Well, yeah, and I think we have been refused access to our rejuvenation codes, and that's what I feel we are beginning to access now. And there's something about the density having shifted and lifted, having a bigger impact on the light that we can access, because we're not sort of battling against the tide so much. We can flow with what's going, and that is supporting us and um, assisting us to access the higher, because we're not having to kind of battle against the deep impassioned aspects of our experience, or on what is around us. It's like all of a sudden I don't know about you, but I've had this experience sometime during this month especially. It's like, oh, smells different. I can breathe. It's like, oh, I can breathe. I can't explain it to you, but it's like that. It's like, oh, it smells different. Oh, the air tastes different. The air feels different. The energy feels different. Everything feels a bit lighter. I can't explain that to you other than that. It's like the tipping point's been reached, and now the part that held us down is dissolving, which means that this automatically is lightning, and that we are accessing that. It's like the prison doors have been opened, and we can flow out into everything else.
The prison doors have been open. Nothing
That's
raises
it. I
nothing
just saw
raises
that
hell.
not come to me before. That was just the vision that I saw in
No,
front of
no,
me
I
as I'm
love it. I
talking.
love it. It's like nothing raises hell like the light. We've been cooped up for a while, and
Yeah,
I feel like that's part of it too. Like I feel like this has been a long, 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 long time coming, and this is the
yeah,
the level of the pace of the information. I'm going to call it information coming in. The
hmm
awareness coming in is so is getting so much stronger and stronger that the human story really is going away. But it can't go away unless each one of, or it goes away to the degree that each one of us looks at it, whether it be something personal or something that's, supposedly worldwide or whatever, like the global stage. This is the work.
Yeah.
This is the work. It's not any books we put out or any podcasts we have, or it is your relationship with Mother Gaia and other aspects of our consciousness, myself and everyone listening, and even people we never thought about. And I think many of us can also speak to the transformational energies influence on those people that thought we were crazy a few years ago. There's a lot of them coming around now. So, but it's a very physical thing, and that's an interesting proposition because it keeps you. It's almost like my body consciousness or whatever, and my soul's here too, but it's keeping me present. Like, what are you eating? What are you doing?
Yeah, because
why aren't you
that's our
exercising? Why
training,
does your
isn't
back
it?
hurt? You know what I mean? Like, think. Let's work this vessel. Like the vessel is
Yeah.
the
We
multidimensionality.
definitely have to look after the physical vessel. So I think people who have thought, oh, I'll ascend out of here and everything will be hunky-dory, they might have a few new realizations because we're doing this with the body and through the body. So keeping the body in good shape, keeping the body open and flexible in terms of its physicality, in terms of our mental mind, in terms of our spirit, in terms of our soul, in terms of so many ways of being shown the form can be seen as well. But I see like the Taurus of the heart, the toroidal field. I see that as a very important geometric aspect of the body. The Taurus of the heart intersecting with the Taurus of the body, intersecting with the Taurus of Gaia, or of humanity, and then of Gaia. And that's our sort of intersecting energetic. And that's how we can align through that field. And so that's been inverted, that's been taken away until recently. And it's that's a part of our turning inside out and upside down as well, I feel.
Yeah, because these occurrences bring more pressure to the human part of us that we couldn't see because we hadn't elevated to this point yet. So every time you get to the other side, you're like, oh my God, this is great. And you look back and go, oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, to speak to what you're talking about, and I'm speaking metaphorically through my own experience, and I go to the Bay every night, and on the 22nd, on the solstice, I watch this. I watch this, essentially this light show every night. Okay, and the universe speaks to me, and it's my own trip. All right, but on that night, two lights came together in this island that's across from me. And the message then was that the masculine and feminine energy collectively, or at least, even if we're not conscious of it, has actually met, has actually come together. And since then, I've had several different occurrences out there, and they're speaking to the other side of that. And it's like this, it's like, in other words, it's like everybody knows what's going on now. Let's go make this happen, kind of thing. And I told you about that fireball that came 3 times, 3 different nights. And some
Can't ignore that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's like I'm looking at it going, can anybody else see this? They're not looking at it. I don't know. So the connection that we all have, the place that we're at, which we're still trying, our consciousness, our human consciousness is catching up with where we're at because it's kind of in front of us. It's in front of us. We're getting closer and closer. It is taking on a physicality, and that physicality, you might say, okay, is part of it, and another part of it is the elimination or the the de-evolution, the erase or whatever you want to call it of space and time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. We're definitely moving out of space and time. I feel that that's a given, and it's just how we navigate it, how we negotiate it. And that's why really we can only be present with what is, because everything is changing so quickly. That's the only way we can stay like grounded in the experience.
Yeah. And there's so many people like us that I know that are living like me, which is somehow or another you make it, you know.
Yeah,
It's not you don't have a conventional thing. You can't do anything for money. You have to. It has to be more and more in alignment with your passion and what you thrive with. You know what I mean? That type of thing. All of it speak. This is all that new language. It's not just a new language. It's a new geometry. It's a new mathematics. It's a new
yeah,
template. And I don't
yes,
know if we're removing, shedding skins to the original template that's at the base of it all, or we're taking everything and just converting it from that foundation in the origin and making even a greater expression of it or something. I feel like we're taking every single aspect of our information and knowledge and experience with us. And we convert that. That's really the basis of the growth. I don't know. No. Thank you.
well, I want to say that we are becoming Gaian, and that holds its own resonance and vibration, and that's kind of what we're evolving into, or what we're beginning to claim, is that we are Gaian, and that is this species or this member of this planet that is held by the consciousness of Gaia, and that we are evolving with. And one of the things that she said to me once was that we will return to our rightful place in the galaxy as the crown jewel of the universe, the living library of the galaxy, and the interdimensional destination place in the universe.
Yeah. No, that I totally resonate with that. That's beautiful. Yeah. That's
Yeah, so
that's
that's
how it
what we're
feels.
becoming part of.
I mean, it's hard to put words into it, or even history, or even the transmissions, because you have it, and I wasn't there, or this or that, whatever. But you can feel it. That's the level of truth, or the level of love, or whatever you want to call it. Like it's unfuckwithable. when it
Yeah,
comes in, when it comes in, it's just like when we were growing up as kids. You weren't worried. I mean, your dad came home and he screamed and yelled, but your mom came home and she was, like not taking anything. Everybody listened, even the father.
yeah,
You know what I mean? But no, it's deep. It's a deep proposition. What we signed up
mm,
for, and there is a consciousness. What I mean by that, there is a whatever the percentage is. I don't know. Let's just say 15% are conscious of this that we're talking about. What I mean is the actual transformation happening real time, where we're letting go of the old stories totally and finding out
yeah,
that we're letting go of no one or no thing. Our relationships are actually getting closer. A lot of
mm,
people have reunited with their parents and with their families. And like I said, people that said we were crazy coming back around. I mean, there's this mixture happening.
yes,
And so I really feel like that when it's all said and done, that's where we're going to be the most impressed, maybe the most shocked, but the actual emotional experience and evolution and transformation of the emotional power of the human being, because that's a very unique thing in the universal
yeah,
family. The emotion
yes,
is it. And like I was telling you earlier, I thought about all these times in my life, before I was awake or whatever or not. And the emotion was 100%.
mm, yeah. And the masculine energy within all of us is like there's a big electrical flow that I'm sensing at the moment through my central vertical core. I feel that there's that's in this huge flow, and to me that's kind of, I want to say, aspecting, it's charging, it's aligning the masculine aspect within each of us, which is also about, coming into the physicality, about this building up of the new structure and the alignment of both of those aspects in each of us as soul in physical form. So this is, to me, this is where the masculine will like step into their role here as it's not that we're not co-leaders, but as leaders in the physical. It's the masculine now returning to their kind of original divine plan blueprint as the masculine aspect of the species.
Yeah, I agree. I agree because like this whole thing started on or around 2012 when the internet really blew up and everything was about the mother goddess, the divine feminine. It's not taking any more shift. And it was
Yeah,
this evolution over a few years.
yeah,
And that was the representation of what happened. It was basically a suppressed part of ourselves that said, "I've had enough of this. I don't have the
yeah.
muscles. I
All
don't."
designed and orchestrated.
Right. But really, think about it. It's the hero's journey. You know, she's like, "I don't have the muscles. I don't have the military, but I'm not taking this anymore." Okay. And then
Yeah,
we have this whole evolution, and then the other part of us starts to come on, which I feel like has been going on for maybe 4 or 5 years, probably from around the time of COVID, but a slow evolution, not as slow as hers, because she had to go first. But and it's come to that point now, where the soldier is going to say, "No, I'm putting my arms down. You can kill me physically if you have that power. I'm not afraid. I am soul, and I'm not doing this
yeah,
anymore. And if it means my
yeah,
physical death, then so be it." You know, that kind of thing where like you might see I think I saw one a couple of years ago when they were having some protest in somewhere in Europe, and there was this whole line of the military or the police with their shields, and they were, and the crowd was here, and they all just put it down,
yeah,
like that type of thing, right? Which
yeah. It's
you'll never
beautiful.
see promoted or propagandized or advertised, but this is the kind of conversion that's happening. It's a very personal thing, and the word is getting out. You might put it that way.
Yes, yeah. Strength through peace. Could see it that way. But definitely, it's like the masculine having divested themselves of all of the criticism and blame that the feminist movement was designed to place upon them. And so now it's, to me, it's like it kind of has this motion, So I'm collecting all of myself into myself so I can stand in my center and in my alignment. And then that is what the feminine have done, and it's what the masculine are doing. And then in our wholeness, in our greatest and highest alignment and frequency, we come together to create this new. And Gaia has always said to me that it's not x squared, it's x to the exponential when two whole aligned human beings come together in partnership. That
Yeah, yeah.
it's the exponential, and that's why we've been so intruded upon, because it has been known that the power of these two highly aligned beings coming together creates ripples of waves across the planet that shifts the planet into a new space.
Damn straight.
Pretty much comes to it,
Damn
right?
straight. I'm just speaking from my personal experience, but being sensitive, so to speak, of the what do you want to call it? The hidden technology and unseen apparatus of the system or the whatever the hell. I've seen it, and I've seen a lot of it. It doesn't last very long, but I've seen a lot of it come through in the last 3 or 4 months. Like as we're getting, all of us are getting stronger, you might say, and I hate to use the word attacks, but that energy gets stronger. But it's not having the effect it used to have. It's like all of our occurrences on a personal level when we have a little bit of conflict. It doesn't stay with us anymore. Sometimes people speak their truth to each other and shake hands and part company, or sometimes people grow closer together. Where I was talking earlier about a lot of the families coming together. To me, the most powerful thing we can do, and I'm not saying I know anything again, I'm just saying, for me, the most powerful thing I find that I can do is to examine those connections closest to me, no matter how comfortable or uncomfortable they make me feel. That is where the real alchemic gold is, because it's foundational. It's like the first interference from the origin. You know what I mean? It's really it's rebirth. Maybe it's that what you were talking about, where you're sweating and you're pushing. I hope I don't have to do that. Maybe all the men are going to have to do it, and the women don't have to this time. But it's just happening, and I feel like it's bigger than all of us. And
Yeah, I agree.
I just don't feel that we're totally conscious to the level of the performance that we've put out. Like, we've come a long, long, long way.
We have. And even to the extent that performance is going to be old language. Because it's going to, I don't even know what the new word is, but that to me is going to become part of our old language. We'll form new language, and we'll be able to sit side by side and unpack something without having argumentative energy, even if we sit at opposite ends of the spectrum of that debate. It won't hold the energy. It will be, because it will be done from this higher perspective where we are seeking to understand rather than seeking to be understood, where we'll be enjoying the referencing, enjoying the reframing of things in this new and higher fashion, which I can't find the words to explain.
That's the whole thing. It's fruitless. It's futile. But I think through the conversations, be it, like you said, I talk to myself all the time. I love what you said about it. It's like when you're talking to yourself, but you're talking to somebody else. It's not a unique thing. This is actually what's happening, and that's what I was saying earlier. It's taken on a physicality, but at the same time, it's taken on this physicality, and we come into alignment with it, or understanding, or awareness of it, and we're working in tandem with it. Okay, as part of the team, probably the most important part. Then our higher sensitivities come in even greater. Like I just can tell you, like in the last couple of days, I'm fairly visual. I go through phases, you might say, or whatever. Mine's many times a physical experience, like what happens at the bay with all the lights and the different things that happen, which you just, one of them's a coincidence, but when you line them all up, you know what I'm talking about. There's no way. But I've been seeing flashes, especially in the last, the last 2 days. Because I was telling you, I lost my phone, my electricity went out, my neighbors hooked me up, my beautiful neighbors hooked me up and gave me their electricity to let me share in it, because the utility company can't come back till Monday. And it got turned off because I didn't know that they stuck the little ticket up in my electric meter outside my door. It's like, I never saw it. So anyway, I was having all this kind of weird human stuff happen, and I'm standing in my place, no electricity most of the day, and all this stuff came in. I kept seeing these visions, these screenshots of like paradise. Okay, that was part of it. Other ones were like frames of a moment in time. Some were like galactic looking, like with white furniture and clear, and dark windows in the spaceship. And then there was other ones that were nature. A couple of them were like household scenes. but nobody was in the frames. But the energy, I could feel it. And the message was, it was all you. There's nothing to judge here. It's clear, And so, but to me, this is what's happening to us. We're like, just say the last 24, 48, 72 hours. The things that are coming to people. And I think another way to look at it, too, is the things that we're not involving ourselves with. I spent yesterday with no phone. And I still don't have a phone. But I spent most of the day at the beach because I didn't have electricity and it was hot. And I was thinking, I was in communion. And it was so revealing. It was so revealing without judgment. It was just like, whoa. And then I had some experiences or whatever, but the point was the lightness of being that it offered me. Oh my God, you got to have a phone. Well, who says I got to have a phone? I've got internet, but my electricity went out, so then I didn't have internet. So then I went into that whole storyline, which took me to being on the beach with no phone. My neighbors hooked me up and bootlegged me their electricity till Monday. I'm in Mexico, a block from the beach, and the world could end at any minute. The world could end. Yeah. And the world could end at any moment. That's what I really got yesterday. Yeah, for as much as the flash could come in, it could also be a giant earthquake and a flood. But you know what? They're probably one and the same damn thing. And I just had this.
That's something Dwyer has spoken about. She said to me at the beginning of last year, she said, we are going to have an experience of lots of earthquakes, but not many big ones, but lots of earthquakes, because this is how the planet is going to go through its physical expansion. So the tectonic plates like moving apart, and it's, we can like see the volcanoes are like our sneezing or blowing our nose, and that the earthquakes are like our getting out of bed and stretching our bodies, and that's
they're not like vomiting.
Well,
one thing
they
I
are
can't
really. They're spewing that stuff out there.
But one thing I have noticed is, how when the energies are really high and you get different symptoms, one of them for me has been nausea, right? Nausea, however you say that. And I've noticed as time has gone on, I don't have like the feelings I'm going to have to throw up. I can feel my body taking on the energy and kind of converting it, I guess. I don't know. I mean, to me, there's something amazing happening within the body. My relationship has never been closer. It's been, I think, part of the reason I'm in solitude, and I think a lot of people are, there's something going on at a very local level, and somehow it's connected to the outside. In other words, as within, without. But like I'm talking like my organ, this particular organ is tied to that particular star system. This one goes to that. Like it's more than just my human definition of what life is, including the whole globe. This is going out even beyond this. This is the level of our, what do you call it? Quantum entanglement, basically.
Yeah, the micro and the macro to the quantum level, which we're just coming into understanding of, well, probably not even understanding, but recognition of, acknowledgement of.
Well, that's what I was. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Learn.
What's that?
Well, there's a lot to learn, and maybe we'll learn it, and maybe we won't. But what I have always been shown, which I don't know how to explain except through quantum entanglement, which of course I can't scientifically tell you about anyway, is that it will be like we will access consciousness as like our own brain at some point, and it won't be through Elon Musk's adventuring.
No, I've learned that at the Bay over the last 3 months, probably since mid-December. And so there's this round island. It's a small bay, and there's this round island. It's the only thing out there. And I've had this whole relationship, revolution, or awareness with it. And it was the mother. I had a lot of experiences with it. and then on the 22nd, those two things came together, and then I don't know, a week to 10 days later, and going through all this, amazing energy with all these flares and everything that's happening, it told me, you're looking at yourself. I'm you. Do you feel it? And there was this whole merging that happened with the mother at a deeper level than I ever had before. And I realized
That's a very beautiful thing to hear, I have to say.
it was,
My body is responding to what you just spoke.
Well, it's really what happened. That's what I'm saying. We can't really explain it other than tell the stories that we've had. And so what happened from there was, regardless of the human condition, you might say. And again, we got to come up with new words because none of them are making sense anymore. But regardless of how my day went or how I felt or whatever the case was, I will go out there. I will put my feet in the sand, and everything just. In other words, I'm not my body. I'm truly not my body. I'm not judging myself as my body, but I'm not taking anything away. I'm not judging myself for my human incarnation and story at all. And I'm also holding on to that which is pure within it, because I do have playmates. I do have people that I thought were antagonists, that these are the relationships that are closest to us. And, it's all that mother energy. The mother energy is simply, you can't quantify, you can't really define it, but I always use this example. I thought it was a cool example when I heard it years ago. A mother can have 12 children, and one of them, for whatever reason, has a bad night and murders somebody or kills somebody or whatever and goes to prison for life. The mother will look at that child the same way she does the other 11 children. She will never, ever give up on that child. And so that's my way of trying to explain what I'm feeling here as it translates into, the whole, what am I? I am soul. I am the macro and the micro, the whole thing. It's a weird place. It's a place of, I guess, they talk about death and birth, but there's a lot of birthing happening, but there's as much dying happening. And all the dying's an illusion, which is the part that you start to laugh about.
Yeah. Yeah, and what if some of that is because it's a part of us in another realm on the earth that is leaving this physical existence so that we can become more whole in our physical existence.
I really feel like, too, I don't know how you feel about it, but I feel like that regardless of the prophecies and the predictions and the prognostications and all that, the theories, and it's really up to our collective mind, how conscious or unconscious of that we might be as individuals, that's making up the story as we go.
Yeah.
We can do this with ease and grace, or we can do it rough and hard.
The majority energetic vote, that's how I see it. The majority energetic vote.
That would make sense.
So
that would make sense. Truly.
That's the way that I've perceived it of late.
Yeah. That's not to say that one soul cannot, or 10 souls, or 2 souls, well, yeah, you talked about that earlier, cannot alter the landscape instantaneously. Like the level, like she told you, was exponential, right? It wasn't it was exponential. So that's what and that's another thing too. I often consider that, with my own experience and with people involved in my experience, I have this possibility or feeling, or I don't know what it is, but it's never gone away, that through this experience, we're literally becoming like godlike. In other words, we're going to, on the other side of this black hole is a universe that we've created. It's a whole nother ball game. And I think that's kind of a metaphor, but it's beyond like what we talk about in terms of like, what is that power of, where people manifest and whatever that is, that book that came out. But I think it is on a metaphoric basis. It is. Like, we don't know what we're going to create. It's like having a baby. You know what I mean? You don't know what it's going to look like, but you damn sure going to love
Yeah,
it.
and do we know where we a friend of mine often has this story to tell. She said when the assignment was given out for coming to Earth, she said I was in the toilet and I came out and all these beings had their hands up, so I put my hand up and I damn well ended up here. And so who knows where we return to after this, because this has been a big assignment. That there's certainly, I don't know the ins and outs of it all, but I do know from what Gaia has said is that the planet has been rescued from its demise, and that's really why a lot of us came. Those who are awake and aware, that is why we came, to rescue the planet from its demise, and so that is not our scenario anymore. It's a
Yeah. Yeah, that's yeah. Gareth Jenkins and Katie Kiss come on every Wednesday in the Southern Hemisphere, and his entails a lot like Franco, my brother Franco, and it talks about that. It talks about how he talks about how the Star Wars movie was actually kind of like a history, and talks about it in many different ways in that regard. And for me, it's a challenging thing to put my arms around, because I know that I come from outside of that experience. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
And that everything within that experience is one and the same thing. And to be in
Right.
the experience and come to this a level of awareness and then try to apply it, given the rhythms and the tendencies and the patterns of what we're coming out of, is an extraordinary proposition. And that's why I feel like, I'm not saying, again, metaphorically, that it's
Yeah.
a type of power that is exponential for an individual. And when you have two, that's where you get the new universe. Like, that's the level of it. Like, you can't even comprehend it. It's like, it's like the saying, the universe knows what I want. The universe knows
Yes.
me, and boom, you're in that paradise or whatever. But it's not BS. It's real.
No. Maybe the universe is waiting for us to know ourselves.
Well, I think people, I don't know about you, but because I don't remember all of your story. I know we've done a few shows, but when you get to that point and you think it's your human that says, I've had enough of this. But it's really your soul going, I've had enough of this shit. I'm not doing this anymore. And,
Yeah,
and
you're
you
right.
and you right? And how many stories on this show over the years? People defied their family, defied everything, and just did this crazy. Well, I'm going to pack all my stuff and sell it. And I'm leaving my family. I'm going to go live in a van. I didn't tell you how many sisters I know that live in a van today, man, and they're in their 55, 60, 65 range.
Right.
And that energy is all over the world. And that's
Yeah.
that to me, that was like the first part. The voice comes out. She says, I've had enough. Shoot me, kill me, whatever. I'm not doing this anymore. And now the other side has come in, truly come in. I believe it happened in that
Yeah.
solstice, and I can feel it in my own journey. But it's not going to be like before, where you like get a big warning. Hey, the mother's home and the divine feminine's back, and it's all going down. That was a slow 2012, 2015, but now this is something else. This is where that's I call it a soldier. That soldier, the one that had to serve the system. So that
Mm-hmm.
was, you think about, and it's true that the original corruption happened at the mother point, that point that was obstructed with or something. But there's also when the switch got flipped on him. You're
Yeah.
going to do this, or you're a bad person. You're going to do this for your wife, for your country, blah blah blah, and you get screwed every time. But you keep
Yeah.
going
That's
along
right.
with it. And I think the masculine energy has reached the point now where it said, fuck this, I'm not doing this anymore. Excuse my French, but I really feel this in my bones. I really
I
do.
agree.
Yeah.
I remember saying to you last time how I got shown how the feminine took the sword and cut the path through the forest, And the masculine came behind and laid the bricks for the new pathway, but at the same time, they had ropes around their shoulders and they were pulling down the pillars of the old world. And that's where we're at. So the masculine have held up the structure and they are now dismantling the structure, but it's happening, like a block, knocking the blocks over in a child's game.
I like that. Analogy, that metaphor about clearing the path, because one of the things that's I'm seeing or feeling or whatever recently. This is all very recent. I think our whole conversation has been pretty recent about the recent stuff, but has been this thing about the masculine. He gains that part of us. I'm going to speak in that term. We're all masculine, we're all feminine, and we're all mirroring Mother Earth. And if I saw two lights come together and that's my reality, I believe that's where we're at. And now the information just has to come in. But in other words, another way to say that the first step was she finds her voice is the first step is what path did she dream or, like you said, create? He has to be able to see that because that is what he comes from. Now, he has the ingenuity. She has the oracle. He has the genius. He has the ingenuity to take that information and say, okay, I'm going to make this road, this yellow brick road. I'm going to make this. Yeah. And that's, I think, what you're describing. And that's crazy because there's been so much emphasis on the softness, which is very obvious that we needed it. That was part of this. But I think the power of that coupling and the power of the masculine. We haven't seen it. We thought we'd seen it. We've seen it very, very distorted, but it's actually there and it's coming around.
Yeah, and it is going to be magnificent and it's going to be monumental and it's going to have such this quick fire exponential impact.
Well, we've been on for 1 hour and 27 minutes and 5 seconds. We've had a lot of people join us tonight. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you for your continued love, support, and contributions. Allow us to keep doing this every day. From La Peñita de Hatemba, Nayarit, Mexico. So we come to you from Mexico and New Zealand tonight. And Sharron, it's really good to see you again. I look forward to the next time that we can get together. And thank you for being open and sharing your information and your life and your experience. We appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you and the work that you're doing and the way that in which you bring this dialogue together. It's really fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. See you tomorrow. Peace out.